watching Cooler Talk with Sylvia.
Aloha.
How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. I love today's topic, which I'm going to kick off and bounce over to you, Rhonda. So today we decided to ask ourselves and you what inspires you. So, Rhonda, what inspires you?
What inspires me? Well, let me go. It's a long list.
It's a long
Uh,
list. I've started to jot some things down too.
Mother Nature inspires me. Authentic people inspire me.
Mm.
People who do things for others without expecting anything in return really inspire me.
Mm.
Um, Mother Nature, which probably should be at the top of the list, the sunshine, the birds, the animals, uh, um, like minded people, but also people that don't necessarily see things the way I do because they have a way of opening one's mind. And whether I agree with them or not, it's something to ponder. And I love people who want to improve themselves from within, that are trying to up their game, if you will, and be positive and contribute good things and positive things to the world. Um,
Mhm.
yeah. So those are things that inspire me, and people who appreciate those things. Of course, I love them, and and I'm grateful for them.
That's lovely. That's lovely. Mother Nature was the first thing that you said, actually, and then you said it twice, and it was on my list as well. Um, but let's see. For me, the first thing it's funny. My thinking went very abstract, so I went into like things that feel good. And then the first word that came to my mind was beauty. I'm really inspired by beauty, and I don't necessarily mean, a beautiful person, but just like when I see something that makes my heart glow, or that really, yeah, actually, that would be the best way of saying it. That just makes it go like, ah, wonderful. So sometimes it's, like the sparkling leaves on a tree in springtime or in the summer. Sometimes it's the majesty of a seascape. So the nature ones. Sometimes it's just that, like a look from a cat, or a house cat, the way they can like look so intently and intensely at you. So yeah, beauty was how I kind of summed that up.
Oh,
um,
that's wonderful.
yeah. But I also thought, and then sort of came down a little bit from my beauty high, and I was also thinking about artists, and I think you alluded to that a little bit, Rhonda, when you were talking about inspiring people, and people who really sort of, uh, yeah, I started to think about performers, athletes. And sometimes, when they're on stage or sort of in the moment, you see them do these incredible things that, yeah, transport you. So those are the kinds of things that I was thinking about. It was very general, but a very specific feeling that I was reaching for on the inside. Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. And it really does have a lot to do with mindset.
Yes.
Um, it really does.
I'm
Um,
glad you mentioned that because one thing that I did write in here on my list, I wrote big thinking, and being able to feel good about the unknown, and potential.
Mhm.
Um, so that inspires me, like when you're around people that either around people or just exploring topics that, venturing where no man has ventured before, even
Mhm.
abstractly. I find that really inspiring as well.
Oh,
So,
definitely, definitely. And we aren't always inspired. And I
mhm,
copied a link to the chat, and it's just a reference page on, if you're feeling uninspired, know that it happens, but you can get your creative juices flowing again.
mhm,
Um, and there are some steps that the Psych Central page recommends. And again, I'm going to emphasize, if you're feeling this way, you're not alone. Even the most successful people have difficulty finding inspiration or identifying what inspires them. So it's not
yeah.
gone forever. It might need a little bit of encouragement.
And being gentle with yourself. I think you're talking about some really inspiration comes sort of like in very unexpected times, but I have found that when I'm inspired, I'm usually very relaxed or I'm very at ease where I am. It's There are times where I will be inspired in the tense moment of maybe a deadline, but
Mhm.
it's definitely more infrequent than that the other kind of it's not even another kind of inspiration than finding inspiration when you're relaxed. When you do have time on your hands and you're sitting quietly and you say, you know what, I'm going to doodle, and then you end up doodling a masterpiece.
Yeah,
So
yeah, and
yeah.
I have several artistic friends, and uh, and some of the things they create is just amazing to me. Um, and and what I notice is that ways what I've observed is they have fun attitudes.
Hmm.
I'm thinking in one in particular. Her name's Karen, and I have a couple of pieces of her artwork here, and because there's just an energy about them that's uplifting,
Mm.
and she likes to get have fun, which alludes to one of the Psych Central suggestions is changing things up. And
Hmm.
a few of us meet every so often to get out and explore new locations or just get out of the house.
Yeah.
That can help with creativity.
Yeah.
Some people like to write a lot. So allow your thoughts to flow without limitations.
Yeah.
And it makes me think about an old diary from grade school that I found. It's still locked, and the key, who knows where the key is. So I'm debating on whether I want to open it or not, but I might get inspired if I do and see some of the things as a adolescent what was going through my mind.
Hmm.
So I'm still having that debate on whether I should open it up and read it or not. I wasn't a diligent writer, but sometimes I would just start thinking too much and just write down an experience or what was going through my mind with respect
Hmm.
to an experience. Um, so the journaling is one way to write. I know with one of the organizations I'm an affiliate marketer with, um, they encourage writing, and for that reason, because the more you write, you start thinking about, uh, you start creating what you want and where you want to go. It's a fabulous shift.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and I like this little quote by Earl Nightingale. All you need is the plan, the roadmap, and the courage to press on to your destination. Don't be afraid. Um, and number 3 here, immersing yourself in nature. We did talk about that.
Hmm.
And look deep into nature, and then you'll understand everything better. And who said that? Albert Einstein.
Mm. Hmm.
How about that?
Big thinker.
Oh my
But
gosh.
you did mention something that I want to highlight again because I liked it. Fun attitudes, and I think that's kind of what I was talking about with being in a relaxed state. If you're attached to an outcome and if you want to have a very specific result and you therefore move forward with whatever, I don't really know if you're going to find inspiration in that place, or if you'll even allow yourself to be transported by inspiration if you're in
Mhm.
that deadlock sort of position with the outcome of whatever it is that you're looking for.
Yeah.
So fun is essential.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very, very essential. And fun isn't having fun isn't necessarily what you think it is.
It's not necessarily being silly, right? It's really
Right. It's play.
really it's play.
Play. Like I remember as a kid going down to the creeks and just with a stick exploring around and seeing the little salamanders, and I just really got into watching them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so even going for a walk to me, play is even being out in nature and just looking at everything, um, and watching the leaves move, seeing the birds, like this. And this morning I had fun petting or brushing my cats. In fact, Barnaby gets on my lap when I'm having my quiet time in the morning, and it occurred to me that's why he jumped on my lap. He wants me to brush him, and to see the ecstasy on their faces.
Yeah.
Oh, geez, you almost like it's like I have to do this every morning because they like it so much, and it brings me joy.
Absolutely. And it creates a bubble of now. And actually,
Yeah.
maybe that would be something that inspires me, like entering that bubble of now
Yeah.
and enjoying the timelessness of it. That's definitely inspiring.
Every moment is an
Yeah.
adventure.
Yes. 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 I liked your earlier comment too, Cece, about teens engaging with seniors. And I think that's so wonderful. And it just kind of shows like both of those parties really have to be in a relaxed state.
Mhm.
They're not trying to resolve any conflict. They're really just enjoying each other in the moment. And
Right.
those are wonderful things to witness.
Yes. And when you let the younger people talk, it's just amazing what they see and what they observe and how they perceive things. Yeah, it gives
Yeah.
CC good feeling good chills. You know it. You know it. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice actually to notice those moments and notice even just talking about things that feel good and recalling the things that feel good, like that Sound of Music song. These are a few of my favorite things. You can really shift. You can really shift into um, a high vibing state.
Yeah.
It is. This is a form of meditation. What we're doing right now.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes. I recently discovered that.
Yeah.
And that kind of leads into remembering who you are. How do
Yes.
you know what inspires you? By connecting to yourself, getting
Yes.
out of your head and going into your heart.
Yeah.
And you can even ask yourself what matters to you.
Yeah.
So
And when
feeling uninspired about life could be the result of focusing on things that don't align with you, with your
yeah.
real self. Maybe you lost touch with activities you were once passionate about, or you left some of your dreams behind. You know?
Well, when you're feeling those feel good chills, or that buzz or that tingliness or, that glowing heart feeling, whatever it is, you know that it feels good. And when you're feeling that, you know you are instantly in alignment with who you are, the all of you that you are. And the small stuff, you no longer sweat it. you
And
know?
Steve Jobs said, "Your time is limited, so don't waste it living somebody else's life."
Yes. Actually, it's really interesting that you put that there because one of the things that I put on my list of what inspires me, it was low, but I put other people's successes. Um, and I don't necessarily mean the success of, like Steve Jobs, he's the CEO and he's a household name and he has, I don't know how much his net worth was. I'm really talking about like when you see that high flying performance, when it's like, oh my God, that was like a basketball game like no other I've seen. You were out of this world. Like seeing that, witnessing that, seeing a friend, get up in front of a crowd of people and inspire them. That's
Yes.
inspiring to me,
Oh my gosh,
So
yes.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
those
and
are those good feeling
especially
moments.
especially with someone you know, because
Yeah,
you knew what they had to go through to get to that point. It just didn't
yeah,
happen overnight.
yeah.
There
And you
were
also know that they were operating at a completely different level, aligned with like the fullness of who they are, and
yeah.
that's awesome to see. That's
Oh,
inspiring.
yeah, and not be afraid to do that. To
Yeah,
just put throw fear aside, other people's judgments,
yeah,
just throw it all aside and be yourself and just throw it out there and
yeah,
with joy and passion.
yeah.
Yeah,
Back
yeah.
to the fun attitude, back to, and not to say that like being in a relaxed state, I guess that's the wording is maybe even wrong, but that relaxed state, I don't necessarily mean, you're doing nothing or being lazy. I mean that there isn't tension with yourself in the moment. You're not in conflict with the moment, that like, okay, you're going on stage, you're focused, or you're approaching the canvas, you're focused, and wow, like, yeah, that I find it really, really inspiring. So
It's infectious.
it is, and definitely, no, I know actually that like as I'm on sort of my law of attraction journey and really my journey of knowing who I am on the deepest and most expansive level, um, I can see evidence of my success on the journey because of the people that are around me, people
Yes.
who surprise, delight, and inspire me daily. um, and that's not by accident. Like we're vibing together, and
You're
that's
aligned.
a great thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it makes me
yeah,
think of Abraham Hicks always talking about, what we attract what we're putting out there.
yes, yes, yeah. And so as you start to bump into like more and more of those people or more and more of those times, those synchronicities, then you know, oh, I'm in alignment. I got this going on.
You know it. Yeah, it feels
That's
good, doesn't it? You just feel
that's a
like
good feeling.
everything feels like it's flowing naturally when you're in
Yes.
I call it the zone.
Yeah, it is the zone, and you feel like, when you walk down the street to catch your bus, that the trees are kind of like waving you along, like, "Go ahead. Everything is glittering."
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah.
And the trees do glow from time to time.
Yes, they
It's
do.
pretty amazing if you see it.
Yes, they do.
It
Yes,
is
they do.
amazing.
Yeah.
It
Nature
is.
is
So, yeah, working on your self-esteem is another one.
mm,
And Vincent van Gogh said, if you hear a voice within you say, you cannot paint, then by all means paint, and that voice will be silenced.
mm,
And to put it a different way, um, I was trained to think, walk through the fear,
mm,
which is saying the same thing.
mhm,
Um, and it's pretty amazing. Like, I'll give you an example. When I lived in Cleveland, I was getting home late one night and decided to take a shortcut through the city, and uh, three kids and a brick came through my passenger car window. I had my briefcase.
3
Yeah,
kids?
yeah. Well, they were probably teenagers, late,
Mhm.
whatever. But I had my briefcase on my seat, so that was an invitation without me realizing it. But I always kept the briefcase open, um, just in case. I don't know, call it intuition. So the important things like my wallet fell out when they grabbed it through the window. Everything, on the street. And so not too long after that traumatic experience, um, I decided, I need to drive down that street again,
Mm,
and did it. And I could name several situations where, even as a kid, and I had a horse, it was like, if you fall off, get right back on.
mhm.
And so that was embedded into me at an early age from several people,
Right.
um, including my dad. And so, I mean, he had his, in a way, he was helping me, showing me how he got through his challenges in life,
Mhm.
which I really appreciated. So I will tell you that that quote by Van Gogh is right on. That's the first thing I thought of. Well, I can't. How
Mhm.
many times in life are we thinking, I can't, I can't, I can't, I can't, I can't? Well, someone once looked at me once when I was in that mindset and said, you can't or you won't.
Mhm.
And so I loved how people did that to me, because then they would get me thinking. And then all of a sudden I would start seeing things around me, or observing people doing things that they didn't want to do, but they did it anyway because they wanted to find out what would happen if they
Right.
tried.
Yeah. That actually is, I think we could have a chat about that on a future cooler talk, because it's really not allowing fear get between, you who's having these daily life experiences and the you who's really you, that animus
Yeah.
that, you know, knows what it is, like what you want to get out of
Mm.
this life experience, and how you can really best overcome it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's exciting. I mean, to me that gives me the chills, just because of the potential. Like, imagine the things that you can discover about yourself if you get up on stage and speak in front of a stadium of 50,000 people,
Yeah,
which, by the way,
what would I do
scary.
if what would I do if fear wasn't a factor?
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
the largest group of people I ever spoke in front of was about 650. This was some years back.
Good for you.
And I I just focused, some people gave me some tips because
Hmm.
it's natural to feel some anxiety when you're in front of
Hmm.
doing that for the first time. And I just looked just above everybody's head so I wasn't having eye contact, and it really helped. Um, and apparently, someone told me at the end of my talk, Rhonda, did you notice the line of people waiting to talk to you after you did that? And it blew my mind because I didn't notice.
And
I
and
was just
think of like all
I
the
was just
people you
hoping that I could have
inspired.
helped somebody out there, and it blew my mind
Hmm.
because then they described the scenario to me, and I'm still in awe of that.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm getting chills. You inspired so many people. I mean, even just inspiring one person out of 650, yeah,
yeah,
I'm,
it blew my mind,
mhm.
and then one person came up to me and said, it was a guy. He says, I usually don't relate or connect to women when they tell their story.
Mhm.
Exactly what you were talking about, and I could feel it. And now I'm getting chills talking about that, because that's what that was all about. Share your experience, strength, and hope so you can help others.
Yeah.
That's what's the whole purpose behind doing that. And I thought about all the dumb rehearsing and everything that I did. And now today, if I were to repeat that, I would just get up and start talking. But whatever came through, um, came was helped people, and that's all that
Mhm.
mattered to me. And I was like, again, I was still in awe by the responses I got, and
Yeah.
how long people were willing to stand in line to talk to me and say thank you. It was probably one of the most humbling experiences I've ever had in my entire life.
And inspiring. And I think that is a great way to wrap up the show because it is the witching hour, but that's an amazing, amazing story, Rhonda. I'm inspired.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you, Cece. Appreciate that. Yeah, I was getting chills. And thank you so much. Um, and with that, today I want you guys to walk out there and ask yourself what inspires you,
Hmm.
and just look around. Maybe go
Yep.
for a walk down the street, or if you like going to a park, if you're near water, watching those birds, and just take in the sounds and the feeling of it. And uh, hopefully that will inspire you.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us, Cynthia and Cece. And Cynthia, it's always good to see you. I feel like I've known you forever.
My
Oh,
spiritual family inspires me too, Cece.
oh gosh. So with that, you guys, as I keep getting these chills, here the sun is out today. I'm
Oh,
just thrilled about it. After several days of nothing but clouds and no rain forecast, so I was was trying to figure out what was going on there, and then I just stopped. And you have a wonderful day too, CC. Thank you all for joining us, and hopefully you'll be back next week and be inspired.